You got into the real estate back in 2018. How was your first year in real estate?
It was great. Got the license in May. I think it was 2018. I think we closed 7 deals by December.
Do you have conversations with the sellers who are like giving you pushback on the commissions or anything like that? So how do you handle it?
Those are the hard conversations that you have to have. You got to show your value. You got to show your worth.
What is your price improvement strategy when it comes to the listings that have been sitting on the market for some time?
So what we usually do is be honest with them.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Alan Kay Show, where every single week we get to have a blessing to interview some amazing human beings, entrepreneurs, business owners, top real estate agents, team leaders, brokerage owners, right? And today we have a doozy for you guys. We have a very special guest. This is someone that have been, I would say probably we've been friends, for
About 3-4 years.
3-4 years now, right? He's a top producing agent in the state of Arizona. He sells tons of homes. I think $55 million in sales.
Yeah, about 55 million in sales.
And it's state 44.
State 48.
State 40.
What state are we in, Alan? That's 48. State 4.
I was thinking state 44. That's what I was thinking. I'm hungry.
We are the 48th state. I'm hungry too. But we are the 48th state.
So we got James Melendi here. He is with State 48 Real Estate Team, right? Also husband and wife real estate team.
Husband and wife. Yeah.
Right. And where's Jody, by the way? Where's your wife?
She's in Paris.
What is she doing in Paris?
Well, she's always wanted to go.
Without you?
Without me, and I was supposed to go, but I ended up not going. We just have a lot of things going on here, and there's a big difference between taking all 4 of us and between taking her and my daughter. So I figured, why don't you guys just go on this trip, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Interesting.
Yeah. Plus, that's a lot of walking. I didn't want to do all that walking.
Oh, you don't want to do any of
that?
that?
I told you that. Yeah, her legs are beat. I talk to her every day. She FaceTimes me every day, and her legs are worked. She says it's a lot of walking.
A lot of walking. A lot of sightseeing, probably, right?
A lot of sightseeing. She's loving it. She's really
beautiful.
She's always wanted to see it.
This is her first time?
This is her first time.
And she's not doing it with you?
And she's not doing it.
She's doing it with your daughter. How old is your daughter, by the way?
My daughter's 15.
Okay.
I'm stuck with a boy. He's 20.
He's 20.
And he don't want to get out of my house.
Interesting.
But he is getting his real estate license.
He is. So he's going to be part of the team.
He's going to be part of our team, yeah.
Oh, right on. What about your daughter? Probably she wants to be a real estate agent as well, or?
My daughter thinks I don't live up to my potential. She thinks everything should be $1 million sale. And I'm like, honey.
I like that.
I
my youngest one is the same exact way, Abigail.
I get it, but there's a $100,000 lot out there that somebody wants to build on. I mean, right? You got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah, but she's thinking higher, right? She's thinking 10xing everything, right?
Yes.
100,000 is $1 million and everything like that.
Yep.
Interesting. So you have 2 kids.
I have 2 kids.
How long have you guys been married?
Oh, geez, what year is this? 25?
2025.
So we got married in 2004. Yeah,
oh, so 21 years.
21 years.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Yeah. That's awesome.
And we've worked together every day since.
So you work together every day since.
Day since.
See, I cannot picture myself working with my wife. And I love my wife, by the way. We've been together for almost 25 years. As a matter of fact, March 28 is going to be 25 years. Yeah. But, I mean, she's got her thing. She's like in accounting, like trusts, CPA stuff, and I'm running businesses. Cannot really see us working together. It's like 24/7. How can you really work with somebody or be with somebody 24/7?
I don't picture myself doing anything differently. That's it. We've been doing it for so long. We know what pushes each other's buttons, and we also know what makes each other tick. So we know where to push each other in the right direction rather than the wrong direction.
Got it. So there's a secret, there's a method to madness, I guess, right?
Oh, yeah, I could write a book.
You can write a book on it.
If I wanted to piss her off, I know how to do it like this.
Just like that.
Just like that. And I'm sure she knows how to do the exact same thing.
And how often does that happen? Per week or per month?
Oh, we don't fight very often.
Every couple of fights, though, right?
We don't fight a lot about business because we're both business-minded. And we kind of are for the same goal. I think we fight more about couple stuff, like her going to Europe and me staying at home.
She wanted you to come with her?
She did.
Yeah.
She did. Yeah.
Well, maybe the next trip. It's not going to be maybe Paris. Maybe it's Italy.
Italy. I want to see Italy.
Maybe Spain.
Maybe just a cruise.
Maybe a cruise. Yeah.
Maybe just a cruise where I can put my feet up. I don't know if I want to do
That's true.
walking, Alan.
Yeah.
That's a lot of walking.
How old are you?
Oh my Lord. Do I have to say it on air?
We can edit that.
All right. Too old to be walking all of them steps. No, I mean, I'll turn 55 here.
Oh, God bless you,
in,
man.
in,
55 is like the new 45, man. I mean, seriously, if you think about
Melissa's
it, right?
29
We don't,
in
even-
there.
we don't have to edit this. 55. I was thinking 65. I mean, he's 55 years old. He's too young.
That's old. How old are you?
28.
See, 28.
Mr.
What I would
Producer is
give to be
28 years
28. Oh my Lord. What I give to be 28 again.
Everybody says that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if I have millions or billions. I'd rather be like 25 years old than being like 55 or 65 or 75. Like, if you're Warren Buffett right now, Warren Buffett is like, what, worth like about 100? That's okay. We can edit that as well, right? No, we don't.
My
So
TC.
Warren Buffett is like 90 plus years old. He's worth like hundreds of billions of dollars and everything like that, right? And if you tell Warren Buffett, like, you give away all of your billions and you turn 30 years old again or 35 years old, you think he would do it? I would. I personally would.
I don't know if I would. If I could just give my fortune to my kids and things like that to know that they are set for life, then yeah, I'd go off in the pasture and just call it a day.
Yeah, I mean I'm sure during this period of time you already, handed your kids or gave your kids. I mean, how much do you really need to live a comfortable life? You don't need to have billions of dollars. No, right? But if you're like 90 years old and you're worth like $5 billion or $10 billion, and somebody gives you a choice to go back to being 35 years old, 30 years old, I would do it 100 times.
Yeah, I would too. You're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. My client told me one time, and I could see it now. He told me there's a couple of light bulbs that go off. One when you turn 40, and one when you turn 50. And sure enough,
Interesting.
my shoulder started to hurt when I turned 40, and my hips started to hurt when you turn 50. And it's like, what the hell's going on here? Your body just starts to, kind of slow down a little bit. My mind's still sharp though.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's a good thing. I haven't lost that yet.
Interesting. Well, we can talk about that a little bit more. So let's unpack your journey, right? So before real estate, so you got into the real estate back in 2018.
18, yeah.
So like what, 7 years ago, right? But before real estate, what were you doing?
So we were in Los Angeles, and we were in the entertainment industry in Los Angeles, and it's very entertaining. It was very fun. We ran a television broadcast company, and
Really?
it carried about 15 to 20 employees at a time, and it was very profitable. Made really, really good money, lived in nice neighborhoods, but it kind of declined. As soon as the set-top boxes started coming out, like your Rokus and your, things like that, I mean, it takes away from everything else that you have going on, like the television broadcast portion, like the Cox and Cablevisions and things like that. So we went from, I think, a 95-15 split. You only keep 15% of that. And it went down to a 91-9. And you're still making good money at 91.9, and you're still only 9%. But then when you start losing pieces of contracts here and there, you look up and say, okay, this is not going to work anymore.
So who were your clients? Like
The cable broadcasting.
cable
DirecTV,
broadcasters.
Yep, Cox.
So you were like
DirecTV,
almost like a
Cablevision.
middleman or something like that? You were going out there and installing?
We licensed content.
Gotcha.
We would put the content together, edit the content, put it together, put the metadata together, and sell it back to the providers so they could put their blocks together.
Interesting. Right. So it went from 95-15 to 91-9.
And
Right.
then once you start, you still have to carry the same amount of employees.
Yeah.
Because it takes the same amount of employees to edit, to put the metadata together, to transport, to do everything.
Yeah.
And
But you're making 30% less.
you're making 30% less.
Yeah.
So you fall apart after that.
And how long did you have that company?
Oh, geez, we did that for 20 years.
And like
About at the same time we've been married.
so 20 years, same company. In a heyday, how much were you making, like revenue wise per year?
In our pockets? Geez, I don't want to say this on air.
Why? What's wrong with that?
Almost 400
400
a year.
a year, 400,000. Beautiful. That's clean.
That's good.
after all the expenses and everything like that. Really nice. So living in LA, running that business, went from 95-15 split
Split.
to 91-9 split, and then what happened after that?
Well, they started to pull pieces of the contract, and as soon as we looked at that and said, okay, we have to carry the same amount of employees, we just knew it wasn't going to work. My wife was a native here. She was from Arizona, and she said, let's go look. Let's go check it out, and we go look. We kept one rental property out there in California. We sold everything else out. Came out here. We bought a house. Try to figure out something to do. We haven't worked for anybody in 20 years, you know, so we figured, okay, can't just go get jobs. I mean, it's just this. Me, it's not going to work for me. I don't think I could just sit there and listen to somebody, you know, tell me what to do all day or whatever that case is. And we decided to go into real estate.
Both of you.
Me first, yes, and then she joined me about 6 months after.
So it was back in 2018.
2018. Yeah.
18. Got it. So how was your first year in real estate?
It was great.
Yeah?
We hung. I think I actually got the license passed and then hung it in, I think it was May. I think it was 2018. And I think we closed 7 deals by December.
Really? Good for you. Man, I remember my first 6 months in real estate,
Zero.
I did 0. It was like a donut.
You want to know my trick?
I worked my ass off for essentially no, but I built my database, my pipeline. My first 6 months, I didn't do anything in terms of like production.
Yeah.
I worked hard.
Yeah.
But by next 6 months, I think I closed like 13 or 14.
Yeah.
Right. So what did you do differently?
I
How
sat-
were you able to get like?
I sat in open houses. I
Interesting.
I picked a vacant house, and I sat there from Thursday to Sunday, like clockwork, and I sat there for probably 5 hours a day. 20 hours a week I would sit in open houses. Mondays would be my follow-up day for everybody that I met, and then I just started building that pipeline through there. I didn't really get the database portion of it because I was so busy, but me and you talked about that, you know. And you looked at me like I was completely insane that, you know, and now that the database is kicked into shape and things like that, it's all, the business is a lot different. But yeah, no, that's all I did.
It's interesting.
I didn't know a soul out here. There was no big sphere of influence. There wasn't anything.
Yeah, I had a exact conversation yesterday with one of my brand new agents. Right, she's asking me for like, and she was in the U.S. Air Force for 23 years, retired recently, moved from New Mexico. Her husband is still in New Mexico. He's still serving, right? But she's like, Alan, what do? I don't have my sphere, don't have a network of people, like don't have friends, don't have any family members.
Right.
How do I get in front of people? And I said, open houses.
That's it.
If you like now drop me in the middle of nowhere and tell me in the next 30 days find a deal, open houses,
Right.
right?
Right.
I remember when I got my license 2013, and I shared the story before. I'm not sure if I shared it with you though. My first listing after 6 months was a $100,000 listing. It was right off 83rd Avenue in Camelback. And the buyer's agent pulled up at a really nice car. I think it was like Mercedes-Benz, pearl white color. And I started having a conversation with him. I think he was like your age. He was like 55, maybe a little bit older.
Would you stop saying that? 45.
45.
45.
And I was like, hey, like, what do you do in terms of like business? Like, how do you get business? And he's like, oh, I just hold open houses 4 or 5 times a week. I was like, really? And that year, I think he did like 45 transactions.
Yeah.
And the next day, I was like, I'm going to call, I didn't have any listings, right? I'm going to call agents. I'm going to get a listing. I'm going to borrow the listing, and I'm going to hold open houses, which I did. And I remember my first open house, had no clue what I was doing, borrow somebody else's open house signs.
Right.
I got a client. They bought a house with me. They sold a house with me, and they referred me to like 10 other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And since then, I was like, man, I'm going to be doing open houses every single week.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, the neighbors, you get to know the neighbors just by sitting there. I used to have one neighbors come in, and they used to bring me food. Like, you've been sitting here all day, you know what I mean? And sure enough,
It's incredible.
yeah, they called me. Yeah, they brought me tamales.
Yeah.
That's what they brought me.
Yeah.
I said, you guys don't really have to do that. They were like, no, you've been here all day, and you're trying to really sell this house. And eventually, actually, we did sell that house. We actually sold that house in an open house.
Interesting.
Somebody came in and purchased that house. But that client who used to bring me the food, yeah, they listed their house with me as well.
Yeah. I picked up a listing recently in Arrowhead Lakes. It's under contract right now. And we did an open house course, like a class for my new agents
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago. It was on Tuesday from 10 to 1 p.m. I had 6 people that walked in.
Yep.
Out of those 6, 3 are like really warm prospects.
Yep. Yeah.
That was on Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You think nobody would show up on Tuesday? People show up, people go,
no,
and
they
people
do.
do things.
They
Yeah.
do. And twilights, we're starting to do like the twilights. So run them like on a Thursday from like 3 to 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
Not traditionally. We're also experimenting with the 1 hour open houses, not to kind of dilute it with everybody else's open houses right now. Because there's a lot. If you see, I mean, a couple of years back, there was no open house signs anywhere. You drive down the street. Now they're on every corner and they're stacked 3, 4.
Really?
Oh,
I never
yeah.
see that many open houses at all.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know how it is up in Anthem or North Phoenix,
It's
but here, I mean, you barely see any signs at all. I'm talking about in Peoria. I'm talking about North Glendale.
Anthem, we're stacked with them.
Like there are 25,000 listings right now. You would think that you would be seeing open houses on every street corner, and that's not the case. At least like in this area, I see it here and there, but not like sign after sign.
Yeah, no, we have sign after sign.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture of it next time.
Wow.
There's a lot, and Anthem is kind of it's fluctuating a lot. We go from like number 1 in the market to like number 5 in the market all in a couple weeks. It really just depends.
So what do you do differently when it comes to open houses? Like, and the reason I'm asking you is because agents constantly asking me like, hey man, like what's the best date out of the week? What's the best time out of the day? What do I say? How do I get their information? All of that stuff. So what do you do?
So I don't really think there's a best time or day. I think that is just consistency. So if you're just doing it consistently, you're going to meet people, and again, my philosophy is I'm never going to sell a house. I'm going to sell myself to a client and make sure I take care of that client so they send me whoever they know. So when it comes to capturing people, I just kind of let them freely walk through the house. I don't bug them. I'm not down their throat.
So you don't have like a check-in sheet or something like that?
No, not really.
None of that?
Not really.
Nope.
And at the end of the day, when they start asking me questions about the house and things like that, that's when you start to get to know them.
Okay, got it. So you're letting them ask you questions versus you asking them questions.
Correct.
Interesting. You see, my approach is a little bit different though. I ask them questions.
Like how did they get in, things like that. Conversations.
Yeah, conversations, rapport building. I want to know if they're a buyer or they're a seller, if they live in a neighborhood or they're looking to move into the neighborhood. Right. That's really what I start with. But you're letting them roam around and then come to you.
So I will introduce myself and I will ask them those sort of questions. What brings you in today? Do you live in the neighborhood? Things of that nature. And then, after that point, once I get that information, that's okay. Well, here's a sheet on the property itself. Let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah.
And then I usually let them come back to me at that point.
Interesting. How many signs are you putting outside?
I like to keep it at 4, so that way I could double up on the signs. So you have those 4 turns, X marks your spot type thing, when you get to the house.
Yeah.
So I like to keep it at 4 so I could double up on the sign, so I could do about 8 or 10.
8 or 10 signs. Got it. So signs outside, and then obviously inside of it, you probably have brochures, flyers,
flyers,
seller guide, buyer guide, right? Lender information. What about business cards?
Business cards I do put out.
Interesting.
I do put
See,
out
I
business
don't.
cards. You don't?
No, and they're all asked for it. And then I said, you know what? Better yet, instead of giving you a business card, I tell them that I run out of business cards. I just ask their phone number and I text them my information. That's how I get their phone number.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Like
makes sense too.
it works 95% of the time for me.
Yeah, and a lot of times you're going to get those looky-loos, and you're going to get those neighbors that are coming in, just to poke around and things like that, get information, or they're just bored.
Yeah.
They just, are going to walk the property itself. Yeah, and at the end, usually, if you get 10 people that come in, we'll probably get about 8 people's information.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I did one 2 weeks ago. Like 6 people walked in. I got all of their information.
Yeah. That's
I didn't give any of my business cards, but I got all of their cell phone numbers.
Yeah.
Right. And I actually guide them how to store, like I said, Alan Kay, the realtor.
Yeah.
So this way it's already in their phone book, right? Okay, so you don't ask any questions like in the beginning, right? You obviously ask afterwards, right? Like I, on the other hand, I introduced myself and I was like, hey guys, do you live in a neighborhood or you're shopping for your next home? And like, oh, we live in a neighborhood. Oh, awesome. Which house is yours? How long you been in that house? What do you like about your house? What do you like about this neighborhood, right? And I'm doing this while we're walking around and I'm showing things around, right? Like that's exactly what I'm doing and I'm building a rapport. That's really my approach.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'm guiding them through the house.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not really one of those people that will allow people just roam around.
Yeah, I let them kind of roam.
Yeah?
Like, I let them kind of roam around.
But it works for you, though, right?
It does.
It does.
It's, it's a very laid back approach.
Interesting.
And again, that's where our follow up. If you don't have the follow up afterwards, then
Yeah, I mean, it's just a wast of time.
then it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
So then, we're really good at following up, and then kind of going from there. This last month we closed a gentleman that we met 2 years ago in an open house.
Interesting.
Yeah, and we met him in Anthem, and he wasn't ready to sell right then. He was actually ready to sell, but then he had some health issues, and he called us 2 years later. But even with that follow-up, I never called him and asked him about real estate. I asked him how he was doing and how his wife Edith was doing, and that's all I did. I didn't talk to him about real estate. When is he looking to sell? When does he want to sell? I actually called him and asked him if he needed anything. Do you need anything? You guys feeling okay? Remember, I just live right down the street from you, so if you guys need anything. So he called and said, hey, I'm ready. Let's put my house up onto the market. We sold his house. Took us 30 days, thank the Lord, because we're in today's market, it's not easy. It's just 30 days. And then we got him a house in Sun City. Retired and just moved to Sun City.
Sun City. Got it. And he was living in Anthem Parkside or Country Club?
He was in Parkside.
Parkside. Got it. And why did he move from Parkside to Sun City? Is it just an age thing? Or?
Yeah, he wanted to just cash out of his house.
Cash out of his house.
Just cash out.
Downsize.
Downsize, put some money in his bank.
Got it.
And then, just buy a house outright.
All right. So what does your follow-up sequence looks like? Let's say, for example, you meet them at the open house. You made a connection with them. They gave you their information. You said you follow up on Mondays. Is that what you're doing?
I usually follow up on Sundays and Mondays, depending on the day.
Okay, so let's say you meet them on Saturday.
So I meet them on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So on Saturday, what I'll do is I'll go and put everybody's information into the database and into the MLS itself. You might want to edit this part. So what I do is I will put all the criteria in that they gave me. So 3-bedroom, 2-bath, pool, single story. And then I'll put everything into the MLS system as well as my database, and then I will email them properties off of the MLS based upon what the criteria they give. And I have my system set to see when they opened it. So I'll wait like a half an hour, and I'll call them up and say, hey, Joe, just want to make absolutely sure that you got that email in that I sent you out. And if I know that they've opened it and they say, oh, yeah, James, thanks for calling. I really like the one on this street. I'm like, oh, good. I'll be in that neighborhood. Why don't you meet me there? Let's go walk the property. Now, if I email them something out and I know they've opened the email because I have that system, my system is checked to say they opened it, it sends me that email. Well then, you got the email and I know you opened it and you tell me you didn't open it, I know that I have a lot more to move the needle on you.
Interesting. So let's say, for example, they don't open
a
their
stalker.
email. You're a stalker.
I'm a stalker.
You're a stalker. So you're constantly, or the system's constantly sending them property alerts. And when they open it, you get notified. Interesting. And you call them. Okay. So you call them once you see they opened it. You kind of catch them in the act.
Yes.
Ah, love that.
I told you need to edit that out.
Right. You catch them in the act. Okay. Well, by the way, I used to do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. My approach was a little bit different in the beginning. Right. Like, for example, when I meet them, right, and we exchange information, what I would usually do is I would record like a 20-second video, like just thanking them for a visit.
Yep.
Enjoyed meeting you, get to know you, this and that. Send them that video. Then I would add them into my database. Then I'll start sending them properties.
Right.
And then I follow up with them, just like you.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. And then from there, my wife kind of actually takes everything over. If it's a buyer or a seller, I mean, she'll really go to work on that because she does the back end of our business. Like I've never seen anybody do it before. So, yeah, she's the actual kind of engine of it. You know, you tell me to go out there and close a deal and put me in front of 10 people, I'm going to sell 9 of them.
Wow.
But I'm not going to sell them a house. I'm going to sell them myself.
Yeah.
Because a house has got to sell itself.
I agree. So open house is one of your main lead gen pillars, right? And you've been doing them since 2018.
Correct.
Got it. How often do you do them? Once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week on average?
It depends. Well, probably what we like to do is at least 3 weekends on, 1 off.
Okay, so 3 weekends and 1 off. Got it. And these are your listings. Were there times when it's somebody else's listings?
There is. There's still times when it's somebody else's listing, like if my sellers are busy or, you know, whatever the case might be, or, you know, I've given them to the other agents and let them run them, then yeah, I'll pick up another listing. Somebody else's listing.
Okay, got it. All right, so open houses is one lead source. Past clients, your sphere?
Past clients are, I think there's been 1 or 2, and it really irritates me. So all the sales that we've done, and we look it up, you know, and there's only been 1 or 2 that haven't relisted with us if we did it on the purchase side. And I still can't figure out why. That part bothers me. But out of 140 sales or whatever it is since 2018, there's only been 2 that have not relisted with us.
Did you call them and just find out? It's like, hey, dude, like, why the hell did you sell it without me?
I sure did.
And?
They don't answer the phone.
Oh, they don't answer the
And
phone.
these are clients that I kept very, very good contact with. Like, very good contact. I still can't figure out why. So if y'all are listening, just let me know why.
If I were you, I would just knock on their door.
Well,
I'll just knock on, hey, like, hey, like, what's going on, man? Like, I thought we were tight. We're friends.
One's Canadian, so...
Well, Canada.
Yeah, so I mean, I know he's a snowbird, so I mean, I can't, you know, unless I'm in Canada, then I'll go.
We
knock on
love.
his
By the
door.
way, we love Canadians. I had many
We do.
Canadian clients. Like, so there's nothing against Canada.
No.
No. Even with those tariffs, right? There's nothing wrong with.
Yeah.
Canada.
And one I do believe is that they went with this, which doesn't make any sense to me. The 0% commission. You guys ever see those billboards or those advertisements? 0% commission. Oh, 0% commission. No, you're charging something. It's not 0%. You know, you're charging the client something to sell that property.
They probably don't charge the commission, but there's like some sort of like a transaction fee.
Yeah, there's a flat.
It's like 100% brokerage.
Right.
Like 100% brokerage. Like there's no 100%. There's a transaction fee.
There is.
And at the end, probably it's a 95-5 split or 93-7 split, something along those lines. But it's never going to be 100%.
Right.
So I think when they go and see the seller, they meet the seller, they say, hey, we charge 0 commission, but there is $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000 transaction fee or admin fee or whatever else they call that.
Right.
Right.
So there's something there.
Right.
You know. And they want
So you lost to them. Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you call the seller?
I did.
You did. And what did the seller say?
No answer to the phone.
Didn't answer the phone.
No text.
So they just didn't like you, probably. That's
what I figured.
yeah. They probably didn't get like gifts from you.
They got gifts, and they got my air conditioner people, and they got everything that it's like our book of businesses, so it's grown. You know what I mean? When it comes to vendors, you know, so all our clients has to do is, hey, do you got a pool guy? Do you have a flooring guy? Do you have a this? Do you have that? Whatever it is, and we're right there to give it to them.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I would say what, half of your business or 1/3 of your business coming from your past client referrals?
I would have to say now it's at least half.
Half. Open houses is another half, or there's something else that you're doing?
There's a couple other lead sources that we get referral leads in from. You know, so we're part of a referral network. Then they send us clients in as well.
Okay.
You know, we always got to give up that 30% commission or whatever it is. You know, but we're fine with it. So
I mean, 30% is not that bad. I was talking to the agent this morning. He was giving 40% off the top. And then he was paying 50% to his brokerage,
Yeah.
walking away with 20%. On a $10,000 commission check, he was making $2,000. Like the guy sold 16
tight.
homes last year and he made like $65,000.
Ouch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
See, that's on the broker. That's on the broker. Because
I actually like, yeah, I want to be that broker. That
yes.
broker is like, is walking away hand over fist with money.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like, if you think about it, right, like, I read these stats not so long ago. Like, back in 1990, 34 years ago, James, the average split between the agent and the broker owner, guess what? It was 50-50.
Really?
Yeah. You know what it was last year?
What was
Take a guess.
it? Well, you got a lot of 100% companies.
Well, yeah,
out
take a
there now,
guess.
too.
That's nationally. Take a guess. So it was 50-50 34 years ago.
34 years.
Last year, 2024.
95.5.
A little bit more.
Really?
90-10.
90-10.
90-10. 90-10.
Really?
But think about it. If you're a brokerage owner, right? Man, I mean, shit. I mean, your margins declined by 80%.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's huge.
A lot. Yeah, you guys have to supply, you know, the office space. There's a lot that
There's
you
a
guys
lot.
have to do.
Exactly, man. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So what do you do in terms of those type of conversations? Do you have conversations with the sellers who are like giving you pushback on the commissions or anything like that? Or like you're making too much, James?
Of course.
Yeah. So how do you handle it?
Well, you know, it's more of a, you know, those are the hard conversations that you have to have, of course. And you got to show your value. You got to show your worth. You know, as long as you're presenting yourself the way that they want you to be or represented, you know, you have to represent that property. You have to represent them. And I think you usually come out on top like that. But if you walk in there, you know, unprepared, then you're probably not going to get the listing. If you walk in there prepared, then you're probably going to get the listing. You just got to present it the right way.
So what does your preparation process looks like?
In terms of sellers, to go get a listing.
Yeah. Like when you're going on a listing appointment.
You print it out for them. You just don't bring your laptop in. You print it out for them on paper, and you push it in front of them, and you let them know, look, this is what your house is worth today, not 2021 anymore. You know, and yes, you're gonna lose a lot of that fake equity that you had because it was fake equity.
You call it a fake equity.
I call it fake equity.
You call this, you'd sell this to them in their face.
Absolutely,
Fake equity.
it is fake equity.
Okay.
If you bought in 2017 and all of this equity came to you, you know, 10 years worth of equity in 6 months
Yeah.
came to you, it's fake equity.
So what are you showing them on that sheet? You said you have a sheet that you print
The
out.
stats. We show them the stats. We show
Gotcha.
them model matches. We show them the whole 9 yards. You know, how long it's been on the market. You know, listed for $900,000. It's been on the market for 100 days. And now they're down to 850. This one's down to 820. This one's down to 810. Where do you want to be? Where actually do you want to list at? Well, 900, because everybody wants 900 because they want that equity. But if we're going to be sitting on the market for 120 days, you can't move. Yeah, but then they say, well, you're not leaving a lot of room for negotiation. But what is there to negotiate? There's not much to negotiate if we can't get people in the door. It's our job to get eyes on the property. If we go up too high, we're not going to get eyes on the property. they're going to look at the other model matches and walk into those, and you're going to see those ones going on a contract.
So you're having this conversation with them at the kitchen table, I'm assuming, right? Do you run any type of like slides on top of that? Like, hey, this is me, this is my team, this is all my marketing stuff that I do to sell your house for a top dollar. These are all my client reviews, right? This is the reason why you should hire me versus XYZ realtor.
Yep. It's all in print.
It's all in print.
It's all in print. We bring our laptops with us just in case they want to see anything.
So when you say we, you and Jody.
Me and Jody.
So you're tag teaming. You're going there together.
Correct.
Interesting.
Correct. We will also schedule a couple of model matches and have them walk through those properties with us and say, look, this is your exact same home, unless we have a custom home somewhere, you know, and we compare them and say, what do you guys think of this property versus your property? We work with our sellers. It's a team effort to get that property sold. And I think we feel that's the only way to do it because it's, we haven't been through this kind of market yet. I don't think a lot of agents have. You know, we've went through the, you know, kind of steady market, you know, 2018 and 19, and 2021 blew completely up. We stayed pretty consistent through the whole thing.
So what do you do in the situations that we've been in the last 5 or 6 months, right? So the inventory has been going up, right? So right now in our MLS, and I know I say it's our MLS, but there are properties there that from other MLSs, right? I mean, you know, so 25,000, right? That includes land, single family condos, all of that stuff. So definitely more inventory on the market, right? So what are you doing with those sellers that, let's say you put their house on the market, the initial expectation was 45, 60 days. Now it's been like 70 days, 80 days. Like, what is your price improvement strategy when it comes to the listings that have been sitting on the market for some time?
Well, to actually get a seller to reduce price, or
price
or
improve, yeah.
price improve.
Yeah.
So what we usually do is be honest with them. You know, this is an honesty thing. It's either you're going to fire me today because I'm asking you to do this, or you're going to fire me in 3 months from now because we're still going to be sitting here doing the same thing. So it's pretty simple, you know. It just, if we have a lack of buyer response, then, and your property is very, very clean, because there's only 2 things to sell a home. It's always going to be price. Investor can look through anything and he'll fix anything and he'll put it back up on the market and sell it. And the other thing is going to be cleanliness or condition. And if you have both of those, then you are where we are.
But they will say, well, James, you came to our house 90 days ago and you said we can sell it for X. Now you're telling us to lower the price to Y. Let's say you told us you can sell it between $885 and $900. Now you're telling us we have to lower it to $850, maybe $840. We expected this much in our pockets, but now it looks like it's going to be this much. Like, help me, James.
Do you read the reports that Jody sends out to you every Monday? I know you don't like to see those reports.
I cannot stand those reports because they're negative reports.
And I agree with you 100%. But this is what the market looks like today.
So what you're saying is you did not predict the market 3 months ago.
No,
where
I
it's
can't.
going to, okay.
If I could predict
You
the
are not
market,
Nostradamus or anything
I am
like
not.
that now.
And when I was
Shit,
talking
see,
to
I
you,
was thinking I was hiring Nostradamus in chief.
I know you want 800, and I told you to sell the house in 2021, and I could have got you $1 million. But that fake equity is gone. I'm sorry. You're going to have to price it.
You see, I told my wife that I wanted to sell it back in 2021, and she did not listen to me. Now we're losing out on $200,000 here.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's tough.
Okay, so that's the conversation, though. That's how it goes.
That's a conversation.
Right, and Jody sends them the report on a weekly basis
Weekly basis.
to keep them update and abreast of what's going on in the community. Okay, all right, got it. Makes sense.
Like
Awesome.
clockwork.
Okay, great. So you've been doing this for for 6 years now, 7 years, right? And obviously the market has not been really the best in the last 2.5, 3 years, right? I mean, it's all started probably in the second quarter of 2022,
22, yeah.
right? We're still definitely not out of the woods. I mean, we're still experiencing all kinds of challenges. How are you able to? And I look at your numbers. Your numbers are steady and going
Consistent.
up, right? Consistent.
Yeah.
So like a lot of agents out there, man, that used to do like 20, 25 deals now barely doing 10 deals, 12 deals, 15 deals, right? Agents that used to do 10 deals now barely doing like 4 or 5 deals. So how are you keeping this steady machine going? As opposed to like, again, most of the agents are still struggling.
You got to see what's lacking. So what was working might not be working today. And then you got to stick to the basics. If I sit my butt in open houses, then there's no reason that the next agent can't do the same thing. A lot of guys don't want to give up their weekends. I'll take my weekends on a Tuesday and Wednesday if I have to, or whenever I have time to do it. And it just, when it comes to the listings themselves, yes, they're going to sell. Eventually, they are going to sell. But if you don't keep them updated, then what's going to end up happening is they're just going to go to that. I like to call them second agents. They're going to fire me, and then they're going to hire you, and you're going to talk them into going up for 800 instead of 9, and you're going to get that house sold.
I used to be that second agent.
To the second agent,
I used to be that guy that would beat up all the expired and canceled listings
right,
and get it sold.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Because the previous agent overpriced it for the most part
right.
and then was not able to lower the price.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's why there's these reports that go out every single Monday. And I know they don't like to see them. I know they don't. But it's you got to see them. You got to read them, and you got to see what the market is doing. You got to see that your neighbor went under contract, but they're $50,000 lighter.
Yeah.
I know they don't like to see it, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. So, work on the weekends, going back to the basics,
Yeah.
open houses, getting in front of potential buyers, sellers, checking consistently on your sphere, your past clients,
Work in your database.
working your database. What are you doing in terms of like content, right? Like social media stuff and all of that. Are you doing any of that stuff?
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
all Jody. We started a YouTube channel. Don't ask me what it is. She just tells me to get in front of the camera and I go, and then that's
I thought you were
it.
using AI for that stuff.
No.
No.
Can we put AI in here? Maybe it'll make me look 30 years younger. But yeah, no, she's got all that pretty much dialed in.
Yeah.
With all the social media posts and things like that. She's got it pretty dialed in. You need to interview her. Not
I think
me.
I should.
You probably should.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. But she's in France.
Yeah, she'll get nice and relaxed as soon as you get back. So just schedule it with her. She'll come in.
How does she like food in France, by the way?
Oh, she thinks we're getting ripped off out here.
We're getting ripped off out here?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Everything's fresh and it's nice, and when it's $5, it's $5. When you go into a restaurant here and they say it's $5, you're actually paying $10 for it with tax and tip and everything else.
Oh, they don't tip in Europe.
No, they don't.
Ah.
She says the
I like to tip, right? That's the thing. That's what I like to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't tip there, but croissants are really, really
Oh,
nice.
she said they're
amazing.
delicious. She said it's just all the food out here.
The food is. I was in Greece a couple of years ago, and I tell you, after that experience, eating their vegetables, their fruits, their seafood,
Yeah.
man, like everything else just doesn't taste the same.
It's fresh. That's what she says. It's very, very fresh, and ours is not. Our food is just not fresh. It's just
Interesting.
complete garbage.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's why they're like, if you think about it, like most of them there are skinny. Like they eat butter, they eat a bunch of olive oil, they eat a bunch of bread, pasta, all of that stuff, and they're all still like pretty good shape.
Yep.
And here we are,
Fat Americans. we're fat Americans.
right,
Yeah, I get it.
trying to like decide whether you can eat like a teaspoon of butter or not,
Yeah.
and we're still getting fat.
And we're still getting fat.
Still getting fat.
Yeah. So something's going on. And she said that the food is delicious and it's fairly inexpensive to
And she lives right now.
Costumes.
She not lives, but she's staying in Paris or like the outskirts of of
She
Paris?
was staying in Paris, and they left Paris, and they went to, I'm going to forget the name of it. It starts with a B. It's where Normandy is.
Normandy.
Belux something, I think it is. I forgot the name of it, the name of the city. And then they're going to spend a couple of days there, and then they're going to go over to France.
Got it.
And I get to go to New River and Goodyear and everywhere else in Arizona.
Well,
Fight with
that's French Riviera, I guess.
Yeah, it's the French Riviera. Goodyear is definitely not the French Riviera. Definitely not.
Oh man.
I like Goodyear though. I think Goodyear is fairly. They make nice houses out in Goodyear, and it's just so pushed out. Nobody wants to. It just hasn't caught up.
Goodyear?
Yeah.
Well, it depends. I mean, from here, Goodyear is only a 20-minute drive.
Yeah, but the prices are so much cheaper. You know.
In Goodyear?
In Goodyear, yeah.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Yeah.
It's terrible. Because they have some nice homes out there, like T.W. Lewis and things
Why
like
is
that.
it terrible? Are you talking about Goodyear, like all the way to like what's that place all the way tucked in Estrella?
Australia Mountain, yeah.
That's not what you're talking about.
No.
Because Estrella takes about 40 minutes from
It
here.
does.
That's a drive.
It does. That is a haul.
It's almost kind of like Anthem. Estrella
no, I'm
Mountain.
talking like Palm Valley. Even the prices
Palm
in
Valley.
Palm Valley are less expensive
Then,
than like Arrowhead.
yeah, but it's Arrowhead.
I get it. They made some nice houses over there. You know.
I sold in Goodyear. I really like Goodyear. You know the prices were right now like you see quite a bit of demand. It's actually still a seller's market. El Mirage.
Oh, it is. Yeah. No,
El Mirage.
it
Now,
is.
Surprise, on the other hand, is like a completely opposite. It's like literally the next town, the next city, and it's like a buyer's market.
You know, I'll guarantee you though, you're looking surprised, and I think it did this the other day. So we have 25,000 active listings, right?
Yeah.
Between land. So let's just say it's 20,000 listings. I'll guarantee you there's 3,000 or 4,000 that are just surprised.
I got a flip in Surprise in Marley Park. It's been sitting there for 60 days. I lower the price every other week. I get showings here and there. I still cannot get it under contract.
Marley Park is nice though.
Marley Park is beautiful. It sits right across the park. It's a 2,700 square
Everything's
foot
got a
house, 4
porch on
bedrooms,
it.
3 bath, remodeled, fully loaded. Can be yours for $567.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I have a client for that.
Okay.
But you need to bring me a buyer for 1.295 1.250 we came down to in New River. And this house is gorgeous. I mean, it is gorgeous. It's a custom home, 3,400 square feet on an acre.
That's a good price.
It's a good price. It is a great price.
I mean, it's only,
they'll
what,
buy your
12,
house in
13
Marley
minutes
Park if
away
they
from
like it.
303 and I-17, probably? 13, 14 minutes away?
In New River?
Yeah. New River to...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that chip plant is right there.
It's right there. And I've had, I don't know, and it's a gorgeous house. Been on the market for just over 30 days. I think I've had like 6 showings on it.
6 showings is pretty good.
It's not bad.
Oh, you're going to get it under contract.
Yeah, but if you give me the address of the one in Marley Park, give it to me because I'll go and show it to them. Because
Okay.
they really like Marley Park. We were out there a couple weeks ago looking around.
Let's make a deal, man.
Yeah.
I'm flexible. I'm
ready.
flexible with the price. Let's make a deal.
Yeah, because that's about the price that they're looking at. Because they were looking in Anthem, but the prices in Anthem were just they're too out of line for what the
Really?
Oh yeah.
I used to live up in Anthem. Back in 2010, 11, 12. Country Club.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's nice in the club.
Yeah. They don't really utilize any of their amenities or anything like that. I was renting. I did not even own it. I was renting. That was the only place I was able to find that was decent.
Yeah,
That my wife liked it.
the club is beautiful.
It's beautiful.
gorgeous.
It's really
It's
nice.
gorgeous.
I mean, the homeowners are not really that friendly, but maybe it was just a different age bracket. I was young, little kids. They would look at us like we were like aliens from another planet.
It's gotten younger there.
Yeah.
It's
It
gotten
got younger. It got
it's gotten
younger. Interesting.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
gotten younger in there. The homes in there are gorgeous, though.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
yeah. That whole Anthem area is beautiful. I don't know.
It is.
Just love it.
It is. I mean, our kids were little when we first moved there, so
You live in Anthem, right?
I live in Anthem, yeah.
So you should be dominating Anthem. You should be
should
the
be.
king and the queen of Anthem, dude.
I should be, but,
Why?
there's enough to go around out there.
Yeah, but you gotta have to have the biggest
We do
market
well.
share.
We do well.
Yeah, I'm sure you got a biggest market share there, right?
No, not the biggest market share.
Top two.
I would say we're probably in the top 5. Yeah, you got a lot of heavy hitters out there.
So what are they doing that you're not doing?
Oh, they're embedded. They've been up there for 20 years.
Okay.
They live in they actually, I live in Parkside. They live in the club. So when you're living in that club, you're doing all those social events. You're doing a lot of things in there. I'm thinking about buying a social event.
You can
You're a
buy it
social.
without living there.
Yeah, you could buy a
Right.
social membership.
Yeah, membership. Yeah. How much is it?
Oh, geez, I forgot the price off the top of my head.
I think when I was there, like
pricey.
15 grand or something like that. When I was there back in 2010, 11.
That's not the golf membership, right? That's the social.
I think so. It was like 15 grand, I think.
Yeah, I think that was the golf. It's separate for the social. Oh, yeah, to live in there, it's going to cost you. It's going to, if you want the social membership and the golf will travel. You know what I mean, to any course that
Yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah.
that they have. So that's well worth it. But I'm kind of curious about the social membership. I'm gonna start looking into that.
Interesting. So what's the goal for this year, and what's the 5-year plan?
The goal for this year, I think honestly, the way that the market is, and we're gonna push. We're not gonna take our foot off the gas pedal, but we just want to stay steady. We just want to keep that steady stream, take care of our buyers and sellers, make sure they're getting what they want. And the 5-year plan, honestly, is to get our family involved, get our kids involved, and things like that.
Make a family business.
Make a family business. Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. That way, I could charge them. You still give me a commission because this is our business. We're done. We're retired. We're gonna be out in Boca Raton. Send me my check.
Oh, so you want to live in Boca?
No, I don't want to live in Boca.
Oh, why'd you say Boca? No, because that's the place
wanna
where I
I
want to
just
live.
wanna
Actually,
I
I
just
want
wanna
to be in
travel.
Florida. You want
Oh,
to
do you
travel?
wanna be in
I want to
Boca?
live in Florida. I love water, man. I love water. I was actually there like 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago. It was epic. It was great.
We went a couple years back. We like Clearwater. We like
Oh, Clearwater is
Clearwater's-
beautiful
it's,
as well.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, Clearwater, Tampa, Siesta, Keys, like all of
St.
that area,
Petersburg.
St. Pete. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice there. And it really wasn't all that much for 4 of us to go out there. It was. Well, I spend more money going out to a weekend in L.A. Than going out to Florida, as long as you book it in advance, But yeah, it's nice there.
Would you ever go back and live in LA?
No,
No.
no, I don't think I would.
Why? Why not?
I think it's expensive to live there.
Is it
really
just a money thing, or there's something else?
No, it's a money thing.
It's a money thing.
It's a money thing,
Yeah.
yeah. It's very crowded, I'm sure eventually, Phoenix will be the same thing. I could already see turning into a mini LA in Phoenix. I could see it,
Oh, I agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's very expensive to live there. And it is keeping up with the Joneses constantly, It is. You know how many expensive tin cans I have to buy because my neighbor bought one? That's how you feel. It's the truth, though. It is keeping up with the Joneses constantly.
Yeah. Well, it's like my neighbors, right? Like one neighbor buys those lights, the light system that goes underneath of the roof eaves. It's like 20 grand. My next neighbor bought it for 20 grand. Another one bought it for 15 grand. And now most of them in my neighborhood,
Yeah.
on my street, not neighborhood, in my street, they all have those lights.
Yeah.
Except me, and then there's another neighbor who doesn't have them. You know what I'm talking about, which lights, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, they call it Fire Lights or something like that. As a company or brand, Fire Lights.
Yep.
Can you believe spending $20,000 on these lights?
No, Jody would kill me. She won't me to spend $1,000 that I want to spend on Christmas lights. They're called like Gooby lights that I want to buy or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she won't let me spend that.
Well, I got a quote from a company. They charge I think like $1,700-$1,800 for installing Christmas lights and then removing them after like a few weeks or something like that. For a few weeks, I think they do it for like a month.
Yeah.
But I have my neighbors again. They're like, have you seen our street? We're in Meadows, and that street is probably one of the most popular streets in Peoria, Northwest Valley, for visitors for Halloween and Christmas. For Halloween, we got a DJ. We close down the entire street. We have thousands and thousands of people that walk through our street, get candies. There's a DJ. I mean, it's crazy what's going on.
Yeah.
Seriously.
See, we used to have that in LA. It used to be called Candy Cane Lane, that we used to go down to for Christmas time, not Halloween. But yeah, the gangsters
The gangsters.
shot people there and destroyed it, and now nobody puts up on it. I mean, this was blocks and blocks and streets that people would put these lights out, and they don't do it anymore.
Yeah. It's interesting. You even go through the Phoenix areas, many areas in Phoenix, they don't put Christmas lights anymore.
No,
No.
no, not really. Anthem does. There's a lot of houses in Anthem.
Anthem?
Too. Yeah. Parkside. I don't know. They don't let me on the club. I'm a Parkside guy.
What's
I would've
interesting, my first listing actually was an Anthem Country Club.
It was an Anthem Country Club?
Not the first listing, my first open house was an Anthem
the
Country Club. Yeah.
You know what? I think mine was too.
Seriously. It was not even my listing. It was a guy, I think at that time he was with Long Realty, one of those realties.
Yeah.
Like those dinosaur real estate companies.
Yeah.
Nothing against Long Realty.
Nothing against
No. All right, man. So when is Jody coming back?
Jody will be back, I think, the 20th, 22nd, somewhere in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she's there
haven't
for
been
2 weeks, no?
We haven't. Oh, yeah. We haven't been apart for this long since we've got together. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
I want to say I'm relaxed, but I'm not because it's hard to sleep. It's hard to sleep without her.
So speaking of relax, what do you do when you're not working?
Oh, we like to really kind of just hang out with our kids. When the weather's nice, we'd like to go to Lake Laughlin, take the boat on the lake, things like that. Go over to Pleasant. We're water people, beach people, sand. Give me that. Give me that. We just love to do that. Like to relax and, watch movies with our kids. Just spend family time together as much as we can.
Love it. Beautiful. So agents that are listening to this, right, listening to you, right, those agents that want to elevate their business, do better in terms of open houses, generate more business from their past clients, their sphere. What would you share with them in terms of your advice? Give them like 2-3 things that are really musts that they have to really follow, right, and do in order for them to get the results.
So the basics. We talk about the basics and just sticking to those basics. Whether you're running open houses, you got to find 2 or 3. I think we have about 4 lead sources right now when it comes to farming, mailings, open houses, or referrals. And there's another one that's going to slip my mind. But those are the basics that you really have to start with. Now, some of these things cost money, when it comes to the farming and things like that. So if you don't have that money, stick to those open houses, and your follow-up is key. Yeah, just because they're not buying today doesn't mean you can't keep in contact with them. Don't talk about real estate, just see how they're doing, see how life is doing, eventually, if you become friends with them, they're not going to want to turn you away. They're going to want to use you because they're going to feel like, hey, this person is really, paid attention to me, not my business, or not just for a business, for a paycheck. So that's what I really suggest. Don't look at everybody like they're a dollar sign. Look at them like they're a human being.
Yeah.
And find out what their needs are and really kind of go from there.
Yeah. And then I think consistency, right?
Consistency.
What I mean by that, Rome was not built overnight. It takes weeks, it takes months. It doesn't mean that your next open house is going to be a grand slam event where you're going to have 30 or 60 people that are going to show up. Right? You're going to have duds. You're going to have open houses nobody shows up to, right? But it doesn't mean that they don't work. You just have to continue working them, right?
That's it.
And by the way, that's the case for any lead source out there. In order for you to become really good at it, it takes time, it takes commitment, lots of focus, consistency, right? And I tell this to agents all the time: months and months and months and months of work, will get you the results that you expecting.
You are
not
definitely-
days or weeks, months
Right.
and months and months.
You're definitely going to get out of it what you put into it. It's definitely, but you know, you're right though. I mean, we'll go, you know, because it's real estate.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we'll go, you know, 30, maybe even 60 days straight, you know, and then finally be able to get a day off. But that's how we're consistently closing.
Yeah.
We don't, what's that term that everybody uses on real estate? Octopus, you know, where you're, you know, closing, it's January. So you're closing 2 or 3 in January, and then you don't close anything in February, you don't close anything in March. Your next deal might not be until April. We stay pretty consistent with closings, you know, 2 or 3 a month.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we like because it's consistent.
I love it. Awesome. So when can the buyers, sellers, agents find you? On Facebook,
Yep, you can find us on Facebook,
Instagram,
YouTube, YouTube.
Uh-huh.
Of course, your Zillows and your Realtor.coms and things like that. I mean, you just got to make sure that all of those platforms, even though if you don't like Zillow or if you don't, as an agent, or you don't like Realtor.com, whatever it is, you know, make sure that those platforms have your name, your phone number, your face, your recognition. Whatever you're selling, it has to be on there. Because let's face it, I mean, you know as well as I do. I mean, I'll send 100 listings over to my clients off the MLS, and they'll contact me on what? On one listing that they want to go and see. I'm like, I didn't send this to them. Why didn't I send this to them? Where do they find it?
Yeah.
Zillow.
Yeah.
So make sure that your page on Zillow is set up.
Love it. All right, my man.
Good.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming in. As
Anytime,
always,
sir.
it's our pleasure.
Yes, sir.